Hello students, my name is Swapna Hazare from Department of Botany, Mahatma Phule Mahavidyalay, Pimpri. Today I am going to deliver a lecture for the class FY BSc and the name of the paper is Botany Paper First, Plant Life and Utilization First. So I am going to discuss about the chapter 3 from the credit first semester first. The name of the chapter is Lichen. So let's see first what is the meaning of lichen. So just overlook about the introductory part on the lichens. The lichens are a composite organism consisting of a fungus living in intimate association with an alga where fungal partner is called as mycobiont and algal partner is called as phycobiont. So lichens are nothing but they are the composite organism where two partners are involved. One is algal partner and another one is fungal partner. So here mycobionts, which are the fungal partners, they belong to class Ascomycotina, Basidiomycotina or Deuteromycotina. And the algal partner, which are known as a phycobiont, they are belong to class either Chlorophyta or Cyanophyta. These lichens are able to tolerate repeated cycles of drying and dehydration to survive extreme temperature, high solar radiation, and other adverse conditions. If we see the nature of algae, they always grow in water, and even fungus, they grow in a moist habitat. But this composite organism lichen, they able to grow in such a extreme of condition, temperature condition, either very cold or either very hot. These lichens, they are also considered as a classical pioneer organism in soil formation. So they have a very good ecological role as they are involved in the soil formation. Then the general characters of lichens. These lichens, they are grow on the rock, leaves, tree trunks, bare rocks, including walls and gravestones, and they are also found on the exposed soil surfaces. These lichens are xerophytic and they can withstand long periods of drought. They found abundantly on high mountain and also grow in extremely cold region like Arctic tundra and also in hot deserts. About the plant body of the lichen, it is basically a thalloid. The plant body is thalloid. The meaning of thalloid is it is not differentiated into root, stem, and leaf like structure. And there is a variation among the colors of the lichen, like yellow, green, gray, orange, brown, red. This type of colors are found in the lichens. Morphologically, the lichens are of three types. These types we see later. On the basis of distribution of algal cells, lichen thalli, they are of two types, either homoimerous or heteroimerous. The meaning of homoimerous means where the algal cells they are scattered uniformly within a network of fungal hyphae. If such condition is there, then it is considered as a homoimerous thallus. And heteroimerous means where the algal cells they are restricted to a distinct layer. Usually it is found towards the upper side of the thallus. That means upper algal layer and the lower fungal layer. Such thallus is known as a heteroimerous thallus. Then about the reproduction, there are occur three types of reproduction: vegetative, asexual, and sexual. In vegetative reproduction, it is generally occur by fragmentation. The smaller fragments they are able to grow into a new thalli. Then another, the Isidia and Soridia. These are the vegetative spores. These spores they can able to germinate in the favorable condition and they give rise to a new thalli or the new lichen body. Then about asexual reproduction, the asexual reproduction is occur by with the help of Pycnidia. Pycnidia are the flask-shaped bodies inside which the pycnidiospores are produced. And these pycnidiospores, they germinate and produce a new thalli. Then about the sexual reproduction, it is restricted to only the fungal partner because it is found only in the fungal partner. The sex organs, they are called as a ascogonia, and here the female sex organ is called as a trichogyne and male sex organ it is called as a spermatia. Then after fertilization, whatever the fruits are formed or whatever the structures are formed, that are the called as a fructification process. And this fructification is a spot-like or disc-like bodies, and they are called as a perithecia and apothecia. Then about the nature of association of lichen. Nature of association means how the algal and fungal partner associated with each other to form a lichen body. So regarding this, there are three hypotheses regarding the association of algal, lichen members or algal fungal members. So the first association, that is which says this association is parasitic, which is proposed by Schwender in 1867. So according to this hypothesis, it says that in some lichen they found the fungal hyphae, they send Hastoria in the algal cell and absorb food material from the algal cells. So here the fungal partner, it remains like a parasite on algal partner. And when the two partners, they are separated from the thallus, they grow independently, but algal cell can multiply, but fungal hyphae, they cannot able to multiply or survive because here the fungus is parasite on the alga. So that is why this association is considered as a parasitic. Then another hypothesis is there which says this association is symbiotic. The symbiotic means where both the partners, they are independent and they get benefited, both the partner get benefits. So here the algal partner or the algal cell, they provide organic food to the fungal hyphae, and fungal partner, they provide supports to the entire thallus structure with its rhizoids, and these rhizoids, they absorb water from the atmosphere and also helps to hold the entire thallus on the substratum. So that is why this association is known as a symbiotic association. And the third hypothesis, according to which this association is halotism. So halotism type means it is actually a symbiotic, but in halotism, one of the partner is dominant over the other. In some lichen, the fungal partner perform all the necessary function except photosynthesis. Therefore, it is dominant, and the algae, it lives simply as a subordinate partner. So such condition is known as a halotism type. Then the different forms of the lichen, or simply the types of the lichen. So these forms are types, they are on the basis of the morphology. So there are basically three forms: crustose lichen, foliose lichen, and fruticose lichen. If you observe these pictures, you can see the variation in the structure and the colors also. Let's see the forms one by one. The first one is crustose lichen. In crustose lichen, the thallus is crustaceous, crust-like, which is flat, thin, and without distinct lobes. Here, the body of the thallus is very thin and closely attached to the lower surface of any substratum. That substratum may be rock, stone, wood, wall, etc. The thallus, it appears like it is painted on a substratum, and it is very difficult to take out the entire thallus from the substratum without breaking it. If anyone try to separate that thallus from that substratum, that thallus is came out with the part of that substratum, either it may be rock, stone, or wall. In many species, the thallus is partly buried in the substratum, and these thallus, they bear cup-like fruiting bodies which are known as a apothecia, and these apothecia, they are produced at the maturity. The examples of crustose lichens are Graphis, Lecanora, Lesidia, Hematoma, Verrucaria. So there are many more examples. Then the second type, so before that, just see these pictures. So here there is a lichen, crustose lichen over the rock. It looks grayish in color, grayish greenish in color, and it looks like either it is painted or like that. So again, there are some variation among the colors: orange, white, yellow, and the last picture, it describe how this different layers, algal and fungal layers, are involved in the composition of lichen. Then the next type is foliose lichen. The meaning of foliose means leaf like, foliage like. So here in this type, the thallus is thin, flat, and it has a leaf-like lobes. This is the distinguishing feature. It is having a leaf-like lobes. The structure is dorsiventral, which look like a twisted leaf and spreading horizontally on the substratum. It is attached to the substratum by means of hair-like outgrowths, which are called as a rhizines. So these rhizines, they are similar to the root in a function because they are absorptive in nature, and they also provide to the support to the thallus with the help of, as they attach with the substratum with the help of these rhizines. Then the rounded fruit bodies, they are called as a apothecia, and they are present on the thallus. These rounded or fruit-like bodies, they are produced after the maturity of the thallus. The examples are Parmelia, Peltigera, Centaria, Xanthoria, Stricta, Colema, etc. These are the examples of foliose lichen. You can see this is a very common, commonly we call it as a dagad fool. This is used in the spice making also. Here in the second picture, you can see here the cup-like bodies. These are the apothecia, the fruiting bodies. And this is the composition, the VS of the thallus. Then the next type is fruticose lichen. The fruticose. Here the thallus is coral-like, either erect, shrubby, or bushy, or sometimes pendant also. And it is having a branched structure. It shows the branches. These branches may be cylindrical or flat, ribbon-like. And here the thallus is attached to the substratum only at the base by means of small flat disc. They grow on the rock and branches of tree, and they produce a disc-like fruit bodies. They are called as a apothecia, and they produce at the tips of the branches. The distinguishing feature of fruticose lichens are they are having branches, they are shrubby, they appear shrubby or bushy, and sometimes pendant. So these are the three types which is based on their morphology. The examples of fruticose lichens are Usnea, Cladonia, Ramalina, Evernia, etc. So you can see here the picture of fruticose lichen, the branching structure of the thallus, and the fruiting bodies, the cup-shaped fruiting bodies. Then the next part is utilization of lichens. The first one is pioneer of vegetation, because to start any vegetation, it requires a soil. And as the lichens, they are the pioneer of soil formation. They helps, or we can say that they are the pioneers of vegetation, because if there is a bare land, in that bare land, no green plants are able to survive directly in such harsh condition. But these lichens, they are able to grow in a harsh condition. They make the environment habitable for the other forms of the plants, or for the next plant communities. So that is why they are known as a pioneers of vegetation. Then another is the source of food and fodder. So let's see first the use of lichen as a food. So in Japan, the foliose lichen, they are eaten in salads. The example is Umbilicaria. In Ireland, there are some species which are used as a food, like Centaurea. In India also, we whatever we use as a spice, we commonly called as a dagar fool, that is Parmelia species. And in Arctic areas, the examples which are used as a food are esculents and citraria, which are mixed with the flour and they are consumed. Then another use is the use of lichen as a fodder. The examples are cladonia. This cladonia is used as a winter feed for reindeer. You know, this reindeer, they survive in a extreme cold condition. So in such extreme cold condition, the lichens, they are able to grow, and these lichens, they are used as a winter feed for this reindeer. The another example is Lecanora aspicalia. So they are found on the Arctic region, and for Arctic animals and in insect feed, they are used as a fodder. Then another use is source of medicine. These lichens are also used to produce a medicine. So let's see the example. Here the Peltigera canina. It is used against hydrophobia. Another example, Parmelia saxatilis. It is useful for curing epilepsy. Then Centraria and Cladonia. It is also used against fever. Then Lobaria pulmonaria. It is used for the treatment of lung diseases. Usnea and Cladonia, it is having a broad spectrum antibiotic activity. So that is why they are used in the preparation of ointments for the wounds and burns. Centraria, it is used as a laxative. Cladonia, citraria, they are used in curing cancer also. So these are the different uses of lichen in the medicine. Then in the preparation of dye, the orchil dye, which can offer blue, violet, or brown color shades to woolen and silk fabric, is obtained from the species of Lecanora and Rosella. So whatever the orcine obtained from archil is used as a cytological stain, which are used in the cytological studies. The litmus dye, it is obtained from the Rosella. It is used as a acid base indicator. So here the dye is used in a fabric industry also, and as well as these dye are used in the laboratories also for the staining purpose. Then the another use is the use of lichen in the preparation of perfumes and scents. So essential, because of the presence of essential oil, these thalli, they has a property to retain some scents. Therefore, they are used as a base for perfume. The examples are the species of Ivernia and Loberia. They are used in the French perfumes. So these are about the uses of lichen in the perfume industry. Then in the tanning industry, the examples are Centraria, which is used in tanning of animal hides. Then Lobaria, this species is used for the brewing of beer. And Usnea and Ramalina species, it is used for the preparation of alcohol. So these lichens, they are also useful in the tanning as well as in distillery industry. Then the most important one is in the ecological role, because they are the pollution indicator. These lichens are pollution indicator. Because these lichen, they cannot survive in a polluted area. Algal cells are very sensitive to high level of sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere. So because of this, they indicate the SO2 level and they monitor the air quality. That means if any area it shows the decline in the lichen community, it indicates there is a rise in the SO2 level and the air quality is uh, get contaminated. So they are the good indicator, good pollution indicator. And these lichens, deserts, they also indicate the pollution. So this is about the different utilization of the lichens. Thank you.